Overview of Veolia. It's a global leader transforming how communities manage water resources and tackle water challenges through sustainable wastewater solutions. From optimizing treatment systems to supporting climate resilience, Veolia partners with public and private clients to keep communities safe and water systems efficient. They're at the forefront of addressing critical water challenges through innovative treatment technologies and sustainable infrastructure solutions, making a real difference in communities worldwide. Now each panelist will share a brief introduction and then we'll dive into our discussion. So Troy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I am Troy McCoy. I am the Vice President for our Contract Operations Group here in California. I've been in the water business in some form or fashion for about 24 years now. Started off many years ago in the bottled water business, then moved over to the industrial water business, which centers around manufacturing, hospitals, pharmaceuticals, labs, semiconductor and microelectronics. And most recently, over the last several years, made the transition to wastewater. So I've been with Veolia for about 1.5 years now, and it's been an absolute fantastic experience. So,
Michelle Benson. I am the Richmond Projects Lab Manager and the Regional Laboratory Support Manager. I get to go around the state and help smaller laboratories be compliant with their standards. I've been in the water industry for 19 years. I've worked with contract laboratories, public sectors. I did a brief stint with geothermal energy, missed wastewater, came back, been with Veolia for about 3 years at the Richmond project. About beginning of this year, I became the Regional Laboratory Support Manager.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Akhila Reddy. I'm a project engineer with Veolia. It's been 2 years I started working with this company, and I take care of capital projects on wastewater treatment plants. So whenever there is a need to update equipment or build new things for the plant, I am there. I take care of Northern California region. I work at Richmond, Novato, Discovery Bay, and wherever Veolia operates in Northern California. So happy to be here.
Hi everyone, nice to meet everyone, and my name is Akash Vijay. I'm the construction manager. I work for Veolia. Our client is the city of Richmond. I operate on collection systems, which include stormwater as well as sanitary sewer system across the city of Richmond. So I take care of all those projects. I have a little bit of 7 years of experience in the industry. I transitioned into Veolia and the wastewater industry 1.5 years ago. So yeah, it's good to be here.
Thank you for those introductions. We'll now begin our discussion. I'll direct specific questions to each panelist, but feel free to build on each other's responses when it's relevant. So our first question is for Troy. How would you describe Veolia's mission and the organization's impact on global water challenges and sustainable wastewater solutions?
sure. Well, I will tell you that we are extremely dedicated to that cause, as by the introduction of the company. Our mission, quite frankly, is to resource the world. And we like to do that through what we call our Green Up strategy. Our Green Up strategy is centered around 3 things: to depollute, regenerate, and decarbonize. Right? Those 3 things are the foundation of what we think is going to help preserve and protect our natural resources in the environment. Decarbonization, what does that mean? That is just us going out of our way to make sure we have things in place to reduce greenhouse gases. Right? To depollute, we're going to treat pollutants, and we're going to make sure that things like PFAS, which has become a huge issue, not just in the drinking water side, but on the wastewater side recently, is also treated. And the last thing we're going to do is reuse those resources through what we call regenerate. We're going to take those the waste of those resources, and we believe firmly that we can treat and reuse those resources And by doing all that, we think that we can definitely have, our footprint in terms of protecting the environment be a little bit greater. So that is our mission, to resource the world through those three items in our Green Up strategy.
Yes, so needed in these times. Um, Michelle, the next question is for you. What inspired you to pursue a career in the water treatment and lab field? And how has your journey unfolded over your 19 years of experience?
So I did not do well in high school. I actually ran into my high school chemistry teacher about 5 years ago, and I told him what I do for a living, and he said, "You?" And it was kind of funny. I went to Santa Rosa Junior College, so something very similar to this, and I thought I was going to be a nurse. I found a job online that paid $13 an hour instead of the $7.50 minimum wage at the time, and I thought, I'm going to do this. I don't care what it is, I'm going to do it. And it was filing for a local environmental water testing lab. I did that for about 3 months and then said, put me in the lab, I want to go and do that. And they let me. I don't think they know what they were getting themselves into. I did a laboratory aid, so a lot of washing dishes, making media, the grossest things you can imagine. I actually used my experience in the laboratory washing dishes and the unique smells from the wastewater for a creative writing assignment, so kind of worked both ways. And then about 2 years into that position, I was offered the bacteriology supervisor position because of my experience with my prereqs for nursing, and I took a few days to decide, but I really enjoyed microbiology. I enjoyed what I was doing, what I was able to see in the environmental field, and I decided to completely switch gears. And I worked at that contract lab for about 8 years until I moved to a municipality, the city of Santa Rosa. Worked there in a laboratory. The bigger facilities, you work more as a team. I got to work in a team with 10 different analysts, 2 managers, and the entire treatment facility. It was really a great experience. I did learn so much from both of my experiences in contract and public sector, and I learned so much that I got to come to Veolia as a laboratory manager. It has been very eye-opening to be on the other side of that experience, spending so much time in water and wastewater and learning now what the management side does is very different. I'm a laboratory manager, but I don't just manage the laboratory at our facility. There are so many things that you have to be a part of. I'm in operations all day, I'm in collections all day, I do maintenance around the facility. And then when Troy joined, we worked together and I was able to kind of show my expertise and the need for smaller laboratories that Veolia has and the standards that are required, and show that there's a need for somebody to come and help. There are a lot of one-person laboratories and there are high standards for laboratories, and it is difficult for them to get a lot of their activities done and just know how to do it. And so now I get to go around to a lot of different facilities and help out smaller labs and become certified laboratories, live up to the standards that are required by the state of California.
I think she's being a little modest with that too. I was fortunate to have her on the team. The one thing about Veolia is we have a huge network of resources. But Michelle is probably the resource for the West in terms of keeping up with all of the changing regulations when it comes to labs. So I use her throughout the entire West. Yes, she oversees primarily the lab in Richmond, but she also has oversight of all of the labs in the West too. And we need it that way because I think when you are assigned to a particular lab, the eyes sometimes will fool you And with a fresh set of eyes coming in, you're able to see all of the things from a process standpoint that probably needs a little bit of attention and improvement. And it's nothing negative, but we've been able to use her to combat some of the inspections that we have, to be able to get some of the labs prepared to be certified again. So she is an incredible resource that we have, who's used throughout the West. And again, it's a lot of responsibility because she is tasked with keeping up with all the regulations, and she is our expert in the Western states for our region and our division. So just wanted to add that in there because I think she was being a little modest with the work that she does.
Thank you. It's amazing how you can go from like struggling a little bit at one point in your education, but then when you find your niche and you find what's meant for you, like how much things fall in place and how much of an added value you've been to Veolia because of all of your experience and knowledge and it being such a fit for you. Yeah. So thank you. So the next question is for Dr. Reddy. What is a typical day like in your project engineering role at Veolia, and how do you balance technical work with the community outreach that you're doing?
I will start off by talking about my background a little bit. I graduated with a PhD in civil engineering in December 2022, and I did not expect to be in wastewater industry, to be honest. One would think, what is a civil engineer doing in wastewater industry? So when I first got offered this job, I was like, but my skills are all related to building something. I quickly realized there is a lot to contribute as a civil engineering student in a wastewater industry. There is a lot of career opportunity. So that's how I started off. The Richmond plant was built in 1950s. So you can imagine the need for improvement, the need for new infrastructure and, all those changes that we are doing right now. So sure enough, they needed project engineer and they found me. So I started off with so many capital projects at the plant, and slowly I expanded towards wherever there is a need, like at our Novato plant, at our Discovery Bay plant, Hollister plant, you name it, there is a capital need and we go there as capital program management team. We help with building stuff, we manage clients, contractors. So my day depends on where the need is. I could be in Richmond one day, I could be in Hollister the other day. But what I do basically is manage the clients, coordinate contractors to do the work at the plant. So it's not just construction, right? Like you would think, okay, she came as a civil engineering graduate and then she's working in a wastewater industry, but it's not a simple construction as building this, let's say this building. You need to understand the wastewater treatment process in order to contribute more than just contributing to building something. So it's been a very interesting process to learn that. I still learn so much about wastewater treatment process whenever I speak with one of these folks who is very experienced. That's what I do on a daily basis. But community outreach part of things, we all do day jobs, but for me, when I contribute something about community outreach, my goal is that, see, I did not know anything when I came into this industry. I am learning now, but if there is an opportunity to teach someone well in advance and show them what career opportunities are there, how to get there, what kind of degrees you might need or degree that you might not need, I really thought, okay, maybe, it should start from like high school, elementary school, high school, like the knowledge that we want to impart and welcome students across Richmond to Veolia and show them the career paths. And that's how this community outreach effort started. And we have been very successful in doing so many plant tours, so many students, so many teachers, they visited us and we had a great time educating them about wastewater. Because I think as a community resident, I'm a resident of Richmond community, and I had no idea where wastewater goes, right? Like every day you pee, you poop, you clean, you use dishwasher, you use washing machine. Where is the water going? And going back to resourcing the world, the Veolia's mission, the whole point is if we don't reuse and recycle this water, we will run out of water one day. We won't have water to drink or wash or brush our teeth, in fact. So that's the whole goal. If one of you is interested in career in wastewater by the end of this, I think we are reaching our goal of, community outreach efforts.
Yeah, thank you for that. Like, yeah, there's so many things that we take for granted. What if those things had nowhere to go? And then also just even with your background, like the need to understand like the process of what happens and the use of the facility in order to like do the facility planning effectively. Like, yeah, that's I can imagine that's a big learning curve.
Yes, yes. So like I said, building a normal, regular building is very different from working in a wastewater treatment plant. Like Michelle and I work together. If I have a question about treatment process, why are we building this, right? We had, let's say, one kind of equipment. Now we are upgrading. What is the need? How is it going to make our plant efficient? So we work hand in hand, like operations and maintenance and lab teams with the capital project construction management teams. We are always talking every day. We are always thinking of how to make this entire plant efficient, like how to get rid of older equipment, which is not really adding to the cost of treatment process, how to protect the bay. Like if I tell you the facts about what happened to the treatment plant and process in 1900s, you wouldn't go swimming. So, so we are very proud of the water we are sending out to the bay. If I want to swim today, I will swim because I'm very confident of what the quality of water that we are sending out after treatment process. So, that's our biggest goal.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to add to that again because I think she was a bit modest as well. You'll find that most of the folks, well, all of the folks to my left, even though they're classified in one role, one of the things that makes us a pretty darn good team is they sort of mix themselves into different things. Akhila actually helped us put together a lot of those tours that she talked about. She took the lead with that. Bringing folks into the community to see actually what we do. Because I'm going to be transparent with some things too. We, living around a wastewater treatment plant sometimes isn't the most pleasant thing. You're going to get some of the odors when we're doing some work. In Richmond, we happen to be at the bottom, and above us are the folks that live in Point Richmond, right? So we get several calls once in a while. The tours that were put together allows community folks to come into the plant, take a tour, see what the actual process is. By us doing that, it engages us more with the community, number one. The second thing it does is it sort of takes out the feeling that something's going wrong down there as to why these smells are happening. And her organizing these tours for various groups sort of helped build a bridge within not just the local government in Richmond, but the community as well. We've had schools that came in, and her and Michelle and Akash and the rest of the group, they do an excellent job of tailoring the tours to the specific group of students that they have. They'll do something different for the elementary school students. They'll do something different for the high school and college folks that will come through, all in an effort to help everybody get a better understanding of what goes on. It's helped us tremendously in terms of building the relationships in the community. We have folks now, community leaders that weren't huge fans of ours, to be transparent. Now, we pose for pictures at different ribbon cuttings together. They're smiling coming by the plant. So those efforts have gone a long way, and I'm really thankful that she's taken a lead on that and has done a tremendous job with it for us.
Thank you, Troy.
Wow. Bravo. Okay. Okay, well, thank you for all that you're contributing, both at the site and in the community.
Thank you.
The next question is for Akash. Can you tell us a little about your educational pathway, about what degrees, certifications, or experiences were most valuable in your construction management role?
Yes, so about my education pathway, I'll start just right after high school. I did not know what to do, right? Like naturally. I knew I wanted to do some sort of engineering, but I wasn't sure. I was good on a computer, but I did not want to do that for the rest of my life. So that's how I ended up choosing civil engineering. So I have a bachelor's in civil engineering. So through those, I learned different types of reinforced concrete or steel, how to design, how to build, all these different types of courses. So that literally introduced me to the whole construction sector as well as the civil engineering sector. After the bachelor's, I was kind of sure what I wanted to do next. That was a specialization in construction engineering and management. So that led me to pursue a master's degree at Oregon State. So that's how I ended up there. From there, my first, I guess, job back in 2020 was through a meeting like this. So I attended, a company was presenting. They were giving a talk on what their company does and whatnot. And I went up to them, and after the whole session, I signed up for an interview, and it landed me up in Long Beach. And this company was a heavy civil construction company working on bridges. So I spent a good year of my time doing estimating for different bridge projects they had around the United States. After that, an opportunity came up for me to go to Hawaii as a field engineer on one of the projects. I was like I said, I didn't know like what was going to happen. I was like, what I always done like from my career, from the beginning to this point, is just say yes. I say yes, I figure it out later.
Okay.
So that's fine. It's worked out for me until now, so it'll continue to work for me. So I just said yes, let's go to Hawaii, and I got like a ton of experience, right down from learning things from the foremen, from the laborers that actually build these bridges, pour these columns. It was a tremendous amount of experience I gained there. Did a couple of, not a couple, I guess months of night shifts as well with those folks. So I gained like my technical expertise, I attributed to those folks, the foremen, the workers, the apprentice who taught me. And they also learned things about me, things about the educational side of things that I know. So it was a two-way thing, and that experience was truly valuable. After that, again, went back to California, and I worked as a senior project engineer for Myers & Sons Construction. And after that, this opportunity came along, and again, same thing as before. Yes, I went into Veolia, did not know anything about wastewater treatment. Slowly started learning from my first day of, like Akhila said, knowing the entire process is important before you dive into something and try to fix things. So again, this team towards the right of me, asking each one of these people questions. How does the wastewater treatment process start? And to be honest, most of my knowledge of wastewater treatment process I got by attending the plant tours. So when that's the best opportunity to learn about wastewater. You attend a tour, they take you from the first step to the last step and where it's discharged at the bay. So that was a tremendous experience, and now I spend my time managing capital projects. When you say construction manager, people think more of just managing the technical stuff, but not really. It's about managing people. It's about managing designers, managing your contractors, managing your clients, the community. All these relationships play a crucial role. Like that's what, if any one of you has a takeaway that you want to take away, that's the main thing. It's about managing people at the end of the day. Word certifications, I did want to know more about the management side of things, so I got a project management professional certification from PMI, which gave more exposure to different types of things like cost, quality, how you manage conflicts, what needs to happen on a leadership level, and those sorts of things. So, and there are also certification-wise for engineering, there's an FE, Fundamentals of Engineering, that you can take, and then which after you take that, you go into P, which is the Professional Engineer certificate. So those are some of the valuable certifications I'm still pursuing in my career. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about those.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
I will say this. No, no. Again, I don't think you guys understand how fortunate I am to have a team of folks like the folks to my left. And what Akash does for us, he is sort of the linchpin with the local government in terms of making sure that all the projects that we're working on are following all the right permitting aspects, and all the right data is getting to the folks that are asking for the city. So I am, again, fortunate to have all three of these folks to my left as a part of the team, and I'm the lucky one that gets to work with them on a day in and day out basis.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm definitely hearing that, like, when you transition from anything other than wastewater, it's for sure a learning process. And, you know, I like what you said about saying yes, like just saying yes. I want a lot of you out here to say yes to visiting the plant on Friday, just so you have the opportunity to learn more as well. So I'll just leave that there. So the next question is for Troy. How important has mentorship and leadership development been in your career progression within the water and wastewater industry?
I think it's been probably the most valuable thing for me, connecting with the right people. And, you know, I'm going to take you sort of on a roundabout way of answering the question, so bear with me. I look at leadership development, skill development, sort of like I would look at something that I was strategically planning for. And if you look at, or in business, so if you look at 25 years ago, 30 years ago, at many of the businesses that you see no longer exist today, it's because of that, their inability to adapt to what the current environment is. Look at all the big brands that are no longer here. I don't think Kmart is around. Sears is limited. Radio Shack, all of those folks. And then on the other hand, you have folks like Amazon that were able to evolve for, you know, better or worse, right? But I bring those up because leadership development is sort of similar. I was fortunate enough to have, to get a leadership role fairly early in my professional career. Like Michelle described before, I was not the greatest student. And quite frankly, for 3 years of high school, I could care less about being the greatest student, because I would have bet everything I own that I was destined to be an NBA Hall of Famer. I would have. I absolutely would have. So I was fortunate after I finally woke up and went to school, and I was telling the team here that I have not been to you guys' campus here in a very long time. The last time I was here, because I also came from a junior college, Foothill, in Los Altos Hills near Stanford. The last time I was on this campus, I was eliminated from the playoffs.
Oh.
So, yeah, I said that. But from a leadership perspective, it's invaluable. I was able to connect after I was done playing professionally overseas. I was able to connect with an alumni who mentored me. So my second job, I'd only been working in a professional environment for about 1.5 years when he and I connected. And he was vice president in the oil industry at the time. And it was a networking event, and I just showed up, and, you know, you're making small talk with a lot of folks, still unsure how to navigate the next step in my professional career. And he basically said, hey, if you're interested, I'll call you, or I'll have someone reach out to you on Monday. And I thought it was, you know, when you're in a large gathering like that, you're always hearing these types of things. And like, yeah, okay. Well, lo and behold, Monday came, and probably about, if I remember correctly, about 9:30 in the morning, I had a phone call trying to set up an interview for a program that they had within the oil industry at the time. And I went on the interview. He was, without giving me the questions at the time, he was fundamental in challenging me in terms of preparation for this interview, understanding the organization. What is their mission statement? Here are the things, what are the things that we are most, I guess, famous for? How do we drive revenue? All of those things were readily available. And it wasn't like it was, the internet was not like it is now. So he gave me a little bit of background on these things. But I was forever grateful because that, a year and a half in the workforce, and I was able to land a role as sort of what they would consider a district manager at the time in the oil industry. And it was probably the toughest job I had, but also one that laid the foundation for my career path forward. I had no idea what a P&L was, none. Never managed people before, but I got this opportunity, and he was there to guide me along the way. My next stop, I was fortunate enough, and I still talk to him to this day, having worked for him for 12 years, but he was very instrumental in my professional development. He was the CEO of another water company, and a guy from New York, about 5'6", about a foot tall, shorter than me, but he also, for some reason, saw something in me that, and took me under his wing. Talked to me a lot about leadership, how to approach people, how to speak to people, how to get the best out of every single group that's under your umbrella. That to me was valuable because I couldn't speak to, or I can't speak to Michelle like I do Akash. I need to know and understand what motivates them. All of that stuff was a big part of leadership development. 25 years ago when I got into a leadership role, everybody was the same. I don't care what motivated you. I'm gonna talk to you and speak to you the way I probably would speak to my worst employee, so to speak. I had to learn along the way, and I had to evolve. So to bring it back a little bit to those businesses that I mentioned earlier that are no longer around, my leadership development had to take the same path. Because if I didn't evolve as a leader in terms of communication, in terms of making sure that I understand what's important to my team, I would have been left behind like some of those other businesses. So I truly believe that I never stop learning. I don't. I can't lead again like I did 25 years ago. It doesn't work today. It doesn't motivate anybody. While I still haven't lost the accountability piece, the conversations are different depending on who that person is. So you ask, how important has the leadership development been? It's been astronomical at getting me to where I am today. Because I am going to get to know my team members, try to understand what makes them tick, what motivates them, and I'm going to try to play on that to get the best out of them that I can possibly get and help them reach whatever internal goals they may have for their professional career. As a leader, that's the most satisfying thing for me, is to see my team members get opportunities beyond where they are today.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna add to that, Troy. I think he's being a little too modest. As somebody who works directly under Troy and has seen him in this leadership role. He has brought out the leadership in me as well. I was new to management, and being the lab manager just kind of left to myself in the Richmond project was fine. I made it through. There were some difficult times, there were some not so difficult times, but it wasn't exactly what I had experienced or thought that it would be. Like Akash said, you're mostly managing people. That's very different. I can do whatever I want in a lab. I know the rules. I know what's supposed to happen. I can do that. It's the people that's difficult. And Troy here is the one that has brought me up into a level where I can communicate with my employees. I can communicate with people like Troy on his level, the VP level, the presidential level, people in the CPM team, and be able to relate to them, like he was saying, find what makes them tick, bring up the people that I work with in the laboratory that I want to see do well, because if they do well, I do well. He has done this for me tremendously, and I've learned so much, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to add something.
I don't know what I started here. That wasn't intentional, by the way.
I'll keep it short. I just wanted to say everybody will have ideas, great ideas, good ideas, but to make them happen, you need leaders like Troy. Uh, I might have had a small idea of community outreach, but it only happened because I had the resources, I had the support from the management team here, and everybody at the plant, right? Not just Troy, not just me. All of us work together to bring this from concept to reality. And now, sitting here talking to all of you and inviting you to the plant, that makes me really happy, and it only happened because of the support. So thank you, Troy, for always saying yes.
Love how you tied that together. All right. I definitely appreciate you sharing that. Like, it's really a lifelong thing. Like, it's really important to kind of never stop learning, because things will always evolve and things will always change. And people, you're working with different people, and every person is a different lesson as well. So thank you for sharing that. And then also, like, that importance of the mentors that came along the way, and how, like, you really took advantage of those opportunities as they came as well, as have you all with the opportunities of the mentorship in this case as well. So just keep that in mind as you're interacting, even at this level with, faculty, with staff here. There's people who want to support students and really see them get to their next level and grow, and that's really what feeds them. So remember that and take advantage of that as the opportunities come up for you as well. All right, so Dr. Reddy. Tell us about the water treatment technologies and exciting infrastructure projects Veolia is currently working on.
To say it in one sentence, please visit us on Friday. You'll know more. Soft plug. It's going to be really interesting, but I'll keep it short with, what we do, right? Like, in terms of, I said the plant was built in 1950s. So you can imagine how much we have grown infrastructure-wise and the treatment process-wise, and the regulations, compliance part from the government as well. Like, back in 1950s, all we did was gather all the wastewater, let it stay at one place, slow it down, and then release it back to bay. That's all we did. That's the treatment. Yeah. So all the solids would settle down by slowing down the water, and then we would send the top water to the bay. That was the treatment in 1950s, and that's why I said I won't swim if I was taken back in time. But now, at our plant, there are like 6 phases of water treatment. As you can imagine, wastewater, it will have solids and liquid, like the water portion and like the trash and solids portion to it. So the first few stages in the treatment, we filter out water and the solids. So after we filter out, we send them in 2 separate routes. The water, it will get treated by, Michelle can answer this better, but biological treatment will happen in our basins that, you will see this Friday. After that, we send them to chlorine water tanks. We add chlorine to disinfect, and then to remove the chlorine, we add another chemical to remove all the chlorine, right? Now that water is sent to base. So there are like 6 phases in the wastewater treatment process. To do all of this, we do need like good equipment. And there are several equipment that can do same function. If you look at our treatment plant and if you visit some other plant tomorrow, it could be totally different. But we are basically doing the same thing with the treatment. So part of what I do, like we do some research. What is good for our plant, our community? Like what is the need? What is the population? What is the amount of water that's coming in? So we calculate that, we do some research and we pick the technology that works for this community. And then we try to build that and install that and make things run, make things happen. So that's about water treatment technologies. We have been working on like $50 million worth of projects at Richmond, where we are either building completely new stuff or we are upgrading existing equipment. So the first one was a $40 million project where I started off. We were taking care of an entire section of building with brand new equipment where we had these grates that will separate out water and solids. So, previously we did have that, but like I said, things that were built in 1950s weren't working properly. So we were not separating solids and liquids 10 years ago. So when Veolia took over, we identified, these pieces where we can add to improving the wastewater treatment process. So we started proposing those ideas to our client. They funded the projects and we were able to build such amazing equipment and infrastructure today that, is giving a very nice quality of water. Again, I cannot be proud enough to say that. We are really proud that we are compliant. We send water that is safe for animals, fish, human, everybody. And we are also kind of, contributing towards sustainable and reusing of some of this water. So that's what we do with our projects. And I can talk about multiple projects. There is one more where we are replacing an entire solid thickening facility into a brand new facility using a whole new equipment. Previously, we had open tanks. Now we have like closed 3 equipment where it will add polymer and thicken the solids. So it's making things effective, fast, and we can meet the growing needs of this community. Like maybe 10 years ago, the population was only 10,000 in Richmond. Now it is 100,000. So we need to meet the demand. So we are always constantly improving our treatment process so that the quality of effluent is good. That's the end goal.
Wow. Continuous process improvement. Wow, thank you.
I will.
I'm so glad it's not 1950s water.
I will add to Akhila that one of the really wonderful things about the Richmond project and CPM in general is having them on site or available when they're doing these projects. They not only plan and reach out to the community and figure out what is needed, they talk to our operations team, they talk to our management team, they talk to the laboratory team and make sure that everybody's voice is heard and that what they're designing is going to be the most functional that is available for what is actually being done on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. I think that makes a lot of difference. Like I
really
said,
does.
building infrastructure is one thing, but also building something that everyone is happy about who is working on a daily basis. That's a whole different thing. And to accommodate that and also satisfy the designer on the other side who doesn't really know the treatment process, who can only calculate the loads on a building and tell you, okay, you can build this. You can build 2 stories here and the loads will be okay. That's not same as, meeting the need in terms of operations. So we do that when we are extremely proud of this collaboration and what's happening at Richmond. And we will continue to be proud to show off our work and educate about wastewater and, the treatment process.
Thank you. All right. So the next question is for Michelle. What makes the environmental laboratory and water treatment sector an attractive place to work, and how is it evolving?
I would say that what makes it so attractive is that it's always evolving. There are updates monthly, there are updates weekly, there are updates annually. we have this huge book, it's called Standard Methods in the Laboratory, that tells us what we can do. And then we have another book that's about this big that tells us how to report all of that data. It's called a T&I manual. But those are constantly changing. They come out with new versions of those. I think the T&I is from 2016, but we have quarterly meetings that are called method update rule meetings. And it's just updates to the little printed rules from 2016 that is constantly changing to make sure that what we're putting out is of the best quality. And I think that the fact that there are people and an entire community that cares so much about what water, what products are going out into the bay, into rivers, into estuaries. A plant I worked at just took their water and put it to steam generation up at a geyser for energy production. But the quality of standards that went into making sure that water was good was so high. And the entire treatment plant, the entire team that cared about it was wonderful to see, and it made me proud. And I think that is why I love my work. It is so rewarding to know that I'm not personally affecting the water, but I can take my knowledge and take it to Akhila or take it to the operations manager and say, this is what I see, this is what I know from my past, and this is what I think is occurring. And it is really special. I don't think you find that in many industries. It wasn't something that I thought I was going to find in nursing, hence why I pushed that aside. There are a lot of rules, like I said. There's a lot of thinking that you can do for yourself, a lot of interpretation that you can do for yourself, and just being part of a community that has an entire group of people that care and can contribute to that is absolutely wonderful. I'm part of an email group. It's a Bay Area Clean Water Association, and we just email each other all day, all week, and ask questions, and that's fantastic. Troy mentioned PFAS earlier today. There's, forever chemicals in our drinking water, and we're running out of water, especially in California, and knowing that the potential for reusing wastewater is there, we're looking at PFAS and wastewater. That's one of the huge evolving things. The other is pharmaceuticals. What do medications break down into in wastewater? How do we detect those? How do we make wastewater be treatable to become drinking water or irrigation water and make it as safe as possible? Is just absolutely fascinating. I think one thing that you'll find with all of us that you might have heard so far is we're constantly learning. It's just part of the job. It's, I think, the best part of the job. I wasn't super keen on learning at a young age, and now I'm like, if I don't spend a day learning, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I learn something new every day, and I find it fascinating. I love my job.
So glad to hear that. Thank you for sharing. And yes, learning something new every day is a good thing. So the next question is also for you, and of course others can chime in. This is the one about what types of internships or entry-level opportunities are available in environmental engineering companies like Veolia, and what are you looking for in candidates?
I'm going to piggyback off my last response and say a drive is what anybody is going to look for. The desire to learn, the desire to be part of a community is what I look for. We at Veolia Richmond like to offer internships, at least to one department. Our last intern we had over the last summer was from the Army, I believe?
Military.
Military, and he did several sections. He interned with maintenance, operations. He didn't come into the lab, I don't know why. He found out actually that he really enjoyed working on the large equipment. Internships are great ways to find your niche. If I hadn't started filing at this company, I wouldn't have found that I like bacteria, and that's what I want to do with my life. So we want to give back. That's a huge goal of us, all of us at the Richmond facility and all of Veolia, is to give back and offer opportunities. One thing with at least laboratory, it's very strict on which roles you can be in depending on your degree or your certifications. And internships are kind of loopholes around that. Experience in this industry is, in a way, a loophole around certificates and degrees. They want you to get those eventually, but it's great foot in the door, and it's a great way to learn if this is the right industry for you. It sounds dirtier than it is. It sounds grosser than it is. You know, you tell people you work in wastewater, they're like, oh, okay. But it's actually really clean. And it's a bad day when you can tell that it's a treatment facility, or it's just an interesting day when you can tell. But most of the time, it smells fine, it smells clean. There's actually parts of the process that I think smell fantastic. And I don't know where I was going with that.
No, I'll add to the internship part as well as the entry level. And you guys will probably hear me mention this again towards the end, but this industry is losing a lot of certified wastewater operators, a lot of them. We don't have enough coming into the industry to keep up with the demand as well as the future change in regulations and how we treat wastewater. There are plenty of entry-level opportunities available. Internships is something that we've tried to be a lot better at recently. Michelle mentioned the program that we have with the military for folks that are exiting the service. The government actually pays for them to work at our plants throughout different parts of the country. We've also been able to partner with local cities who would like to make sure that they're giving the residents in their community job training skills so they will pay for them to work at the treatment plants to get some experience, to get some knowledge, to get the certifications that are required for long-term and sustainable career. So we've done that with cities and governments in the past, and we still have some work to do to expand that program to cover a wider net of folks that are interested in the industry. Because it is a very lucrative industry, one that's gonna be in high demand, especially with the changes that are occurring in California. So we still have some work to do with some of the internship programs, but we do have a few out there.
Thank you.
I would also like to add that Veolia is in 40 countries. We operate globally, and Richmond is not the only place. So if we say there are no openings at Richmond, doesn't mean we are closing our doors. We are everywhere. I think 10,000 employees are working just in the United States. So if you are really interested, I would say go to our career page and look for job openings if you are not restricted to one location. That is another great resource to look at.
Yeah, we're local here. I mean, we have Richmond, Novato, Burlingame, Discovery Bay. So East Palo Alto. So we do have a wide net over the Bay Area and expanding soon.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that and what's needed. All right. Can you share, Akash, can you share advice for students interested in transitioning into the water infrastructure and construction management field?
Yes, I guess goes back to my first question. Just say yes, most of the things, and then proceed forward. Because eventually you'll meet a great set of people who will teach you. I think from the time I started my career, right, like when I wanted to learn something, I don't think I met any resistance from anyone I ever met. They were always happy to teach you. It's when after you learn something and you're good at it, and then when you mess up, that's when people are upset at you. But in the beginning, trust me, everyone you meet on a daily basis are willing to teach you because you don't know. They've also been like, all of us sitting here, maybe I'll speak about me personally, 5 or let's say 10 years before, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So we're all like beginners, we were all freshers, we didn't know what to do. So I think that would be my advice, to ask questions. Ask questions whenever you want to, and do not hold it back. Like, everyone in the industry is willing to help you out. They'll impart their knowledge, and eventually you'll get through that initial barrier, right? You cannot not know about the subject for 10 years. You'll just not know about it for like 10 days or a month or a year. Eventually you'll get past that barrier, and you'll become a professional. You'll have your own expertise, you'll have your own set of ideas. So yeah, that would be my advice, to always ask questions and do not stop learning.
Yeah, I like, those are really important, like the never stop learning, the always asking questions and always learning. That's a very important point.
One thing you will find with wastewater people is that we love to talk about wastewater. I will agree with Akash. I've never asked a question to somebody in the industry and had them go, I don't really have time for this, or I don't want to answer that. I've found that anybody will answer any question. We love to talk about it. We love to educate. We do basically public outreach on a daily basis with each other. There's so many differences with treatment plants and treatment facilities, and we've all come from different areas, have different backgrounds, have different experiences, and we all take from each other and learn, and we use those experiences for projects. There's failing equipment, and I might have seen something at a treatment plant that Akhila hasn't seen or researched, and same vice versa. So it's, always ask.
I agree. That should only tell you that you can study several things and still land up in wastewater industry if you want to. Four of us sitting here, our educational backgrounds are very different, but we work together. So I want you to remember that as well.
Yeah, I never, ever thought that I would be in the water industry, ever, right? I got my degree, I have a minor in business and got my bachelor's in communications, right? If you would have told me that I would be sitting next to some of the smartest people, technically, whether it's in chemistry or construction or lab analysis, I would have said there's no way. No. I think part of that, though, is what they were saying about folks working as a team and comfortable enough to ask their team members questions. I will be the first to tell you, everybody to my left is much smarter than me. I have no ego in saying that. None. It's a fact. I know that. I will never be as technical or have an understanding of the lab as any of these folks next to me. They understand that too. So when we talked about leadership before, I have no problems letting them know I don't know it and asking for their help and understanding. Because for a person like myself, when I hear data analysis, when I hear complex engineering terms, I sort of get freaked out, to be honest. And then I have to take it back to just basic math and comprehension. So when people tell me understanding data and understanding analytics, I have to immediately interpret it as comprehension. And from that point, my brain eases up and I can understand what my team members are trying to articulate.
Thank you. I mean, that's pretty much a good segue to the next question, which is for you, which is, what skills do you believe will be most valuable for success in the water treatment and environmental services industry over the next decade?
Yeah, you guys know, we mentioned it earlier, it's a changing industry, from environmental regulations to water quality requirements. It changes constantly. So the things that I would probably say will be most valuable, I want to start with what I believe is always the most important things, right? Communication and collaboration. You have got to be able to work well with your team members and collaborate in order to understand all of those things that will change in the industry. Understanding environmental and regulatory demands and changes. Michelle gave a great example about how folks are always communicating to stay on top of those types of changes. The third thing, and I don't think this is by any stretch the least important, because as we transition to a stronger regulatory body, things are going to change. So understanding of digital and data, having some type of expertise and understanding of those two things. We've gone a long way from how treatment plants were operated in the 50s, and I expect them to continue to change and become more automated. This will allow us to be able to access more data, more understanding of what's going on, an understanding of what's coming into the plant, how we can treat it better, et cetera. So I would say those three things, those three bullet points that I had, digital and data understanding, communication and collaboration, and an environmental and regulatory understanding are probably going to be the three key elements for success in the water and wastewater treatment sector over the next decade.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, thank all of you for all of your insightful responses. Now I'd like to give each of you a moment to share any closing thoughts or key takeaways that you'd like to leave with our students today. Would you like to start?
Sure. I mentioned it earlier, folks. This industry is losing more people than we see coming into it. It is a very, very, or could be a very lucrative industry for anyone that's willing to join it. Personally, I wish I would have gotten into this side of the business, the wastewater treatment plant business, a decade ago. I really do. But it is something that is in extremely high demand from an operator standpoint, because we don't have enough qualified operators in the state of California to continue to expand and operate these treatment plants. Folks are retiring. They call it the silver tsunami, which everybody's retiring. We've been in this industry for decades and decades, and not enough people are coming behind them to backfill those positions. So I will leave you with this. It is a lucrative industry. It is one that you can build a pretty good career. I think all the folks at this table are great examples. But more importantly, it's something that's always going to be in demand. So we would love for you to be a part of the industry, to learn as much as possible and to be able to contribute, most importantly, to the environment. Our contributions on a daily basis go a long way into making sure that folks in communities throughout the world are healthy and safe and have sustainable drinking water, as well as treated wastewater. So I would again say, if you are interested, it is a very, very in-demand business, and I can't see anything changing for forever.
I don't want to have to follow that. Thanks, Troy. My one essential skill or key takeaway that I would say would be adaptability. As Troy was saying, there's so many people leaving this industry, and I can't tell you how many times I've come into work with a thought on my day, a plan for my day, and had it be completely turned upside down because somebody's not there or something crazy happens at the treatment plant, and there just needs to be a person there with knowledge that can help. So like I said, I might be a lab manager, but some days I'm out knee deep in raw sewage helping fix a pump. So adaptability and the ability to adapt is essential and key, and would be wonderful to have.
I was 21 years old when I moved to United States from India for my master's. So, the advice I want to give today is that mistakes that you do today won't matter in 5 years, but the steps you are taking in right direction, it will help you grow It helped me grow to where I am today. And I would say I was not, as confident as one of you, because I would never sit in one of these meetings in our university. I was focused on getting a good grade and then thinking of next step. I was not brave enough. I would be very shy to even go and speak with someone sitting on the other side. But if there is one advice I want to give to my younger self and to all of you, that would be the same: to ask questions, to show up. And building on what Akash said, right? Saying yes, it's not same as taking risk. Saying yes with a good heart and mind, it will definitely take you to a very good position in your life. So don't think of it as taking risk. Oh, what if this is a mistake? There is no mistake when you are working hard. So that's where I want to leave it.
Yes, what I want as my closing remark is attend these things that your college sets up, like events like this, take part in competitions, like meet different people, do internships, like do work outside of your curriculum. You meet people, you gain these experiences. That'll help you decide if you want to pursue a career, building bridges, doing wastewater, doing drinking water, or constructing regular buildings, whatever it is, like you'll figure out. But for that, always keep an eye out on internships, events like these, competitions where you get with the team, where you build something, where you win prizes or you don't win, you lose. All these experiences are equally important in addition to your education. So,
Thank you for that. Yeah, if any of you haven't heard about MESA, great program and great opportunities for the competition and things like that that you've mentioned. All right. So, thank you all for your closing remarks. Now let's open it up to questions from our audience. So here on site, if you could please raise your hand and wait for the microphone to be brought to you so you can ask your question. And for our virtual attendees, please type your questions into the chat, and one of our amazing student ambassadors, Sean, will relay them to us, and we'll answer as many questions as possible during our time. Oh, it looks like we have an online question. Go ahead and speak into the microphone, Sean.
Yeah, so there's one person that thanks you guys for the workshop and wants to know if there's any laboratory tech assistant jobs available that they can apply for and where they can start the application. And they also want to sign up for their Friday tour as well.
I'm unaware of any laboratory aid positions at this point in time with Veolia specifically. There is a website, CWEA, that's the California Water Environmental Association, and they have a group that's the Young Professionals Association, and they host events for young professionals who are thinking about the industry, want to get into the industry, and they do tours and host networking events that would be the best first step in that endeavor.
I would also ask you to check out the career page because we might not be aware of the openings at other facilities. So you can go to our website and look for job openings and, go ahead and apply there. And for Friday tours, I think you should speak with Mariah here.
So in regards to the Friday tours, I definitely would have to have the paperwork today. So anyone that's online and has interest, they should email me immediately for us to discuss that.
Hi, my name is Gina Ziad, and I'm a student support specialist with Growth Sector, or STEM Core program. I work alongside with MESA. And so my question is, if you are a student who doesn't have a lot of work experience, maybe you're in the civil engineering program, should you still apply for internships? And
Yes.
you might have experience working like Applebee's or something, so how do you manage that?
Yeah, I can take that one. I would absolutely encourage you to. If you are studying and are interested in the water treatment business, I think you should absolutely do it. We partnered years ago, and I believe the partnership is still there with another college in the area. to where one of our project leaders actually teaches a wastewater treatment course at the school. We've had and brought in folks from his class to work with us. No experience. They start out as operators in training, what we call OITs, and they've built their career over several years in the industry. So, yes, to answer your question, I would strongly encourage folks that are interested to apply for some of those internships or opportunities.
I would like to add that if I have 2 applications for an internship and one person has experience and another person doesn't, but they have come to me and expressed their drive and their desire, I'm going to go with that person every time. The drive and the desire is steps ahead above experience at times. You need to want to be here.
There's another Zoom question, so it's a little similar to the one that I asked before, but someone asked what lab opportunities are available. They're a chemistry major eager for experience, and who should they contact for any available positions?
I would just reiterate the CWEA and the young professionals. Veolia is not the only operator of treatment facilities. They're municipalities run by the individual cities. There are other companies similar to Veolia. Of course, first check our website, see what opportunities there are. But there are lots of options. There are contract laboratories that people don't know about. Honestly, just search environmental laboratory and there's going to be so many things that come up. But CWEA is a great opportunity. They have the young professionals, the networking opportunities, and then they do post jobs and internships on there as well.
All right, thank you. Thank you guys for coming today. I really appreciate it. My name is Zion. I was just wondering about some of the potential challenges or recent challenges, specifically in this industry, that may have come up, and if there have been any challenges in particular due to COVID-19, post-pandemic, and then also, it's kind of consistent existence or reemergence in these couple of years. What are the challenges that the industry or your Veolia in particular has come into contact with, and then some strategies you guys have used to, tackle those?
Yeah, I can answer that first. I can go first. Sure. Yeah, there's always going to be challenges. As far as the environmental and regulatory challenges, many of the wastewater treatment plants that were built many years ago aren't equipped for some of the changes that have come along over the last several years. So that to me is, from my perspective, the biggest challenge in securing enough capital so we can make the infrastructure changes to bring these plants up to speed. Most of the treatment plants we've had at a minimum are 25 years old. So we clearly understand that the requirements and regulations from 25 years ago aren't quite the same as they are today. So we've done several things to bring them into compliance, but the reality is there's always going to be constant changes and challenges for us at some of the plants. Cities are all strapped for cash and capital. So although I would like to be able to have Akash and Akhila and those guys design brand new plants for us and bulldoze the old ones, that's not reality. So we have to continuously challenge ourselves to find different ways to try to meet and stay ahead of all of the changes environmentally that have come down the pipe. That for me is my biggest challenge.
Hey, thank you.
I don't know if anyone else had anything else with their challenges, but
Specifically related to the pandemic, because that was part of your question. I wasn't with Veolia at the time, but the company I was with, the experience was slightly surreal in that we were not considered essential workers, but we were essential workers. And nobody knew the effects of COVID in the wastewater. So we took risk every single day going out, sticking our faces into wastewater and not knowing if this was going to have a negative effect or not. Many of us did that for so many years, and it was a challenge. And then the added regulations of now let's test the wastewater. That was a really great way for big cities to track disease. And it's still ongoing. With COVID-19, if there's an outbreak of Legionnaire's disease or another waterborne illness, they come to the treatment facilities first. So it's not just COVID-19. It's a constant. Let's figure this out. Let's see how it affects the workers. Let's see how we can make it safest for everybody and move along.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Hello, thank you once again for the presentation. My question is, how many employees do you have? And for a lot of the young people here, what are some of the entry-level positions that they can get from getting an AA or not, being able to transfer to another school? Are there opportunities in the company for them to start in entry-level and work their ways up?
So specifically in operations, you don't even need an AA. There is a wastewater certificate program that I believe is offered here, DVC and Foothills, and I know the Santa Rosa Junior College. You need, I believe it's 22 education units to take a test. It is a basic test. And then you have a certificate and you can work basically as an intern operator at a treatment facility that has that available opportunity. Most of them do. Some of them are unpaid, some of them are paid, some of them are less paid. It's basically where you want to be and how you can work it out with the treatment facility and their need. But it's a great opportunity. Same with lab. There's options for certificates that can counteract degrees. There's experience that counteracts degrees. So lab aid, lab technicians, they have those types of positions all over.
Yeah, and just to add to that, the operators that were brought up when I mentioned the OITs, the operators in training, don't necessarily require an AA degree. Now, the challenge is we will encourage your development by going from OIT to grade 1, getting that grade 1 certificate, going to grade 2 to 3 to 4. It requires a certain amount of hours for you to get that grade 1. I think it's 1,800, 1,600 hours. 1,800 hours you have to work at a treatment plant before you are eligible to get that next step. But you have to pass a test. For the folks that do graduate from college, you are able to take a test and bypass sort of the grade 1 or 2 and go directly to grade 3 with that degree. I'm pretty sure they still have the program that allows that.
You still need the 1,800 hours of experience.
Right.
It equals out to about a year. And most facilities that if you do an OIT program at are looking to hire you on as a full-time operator. They don't want to put a year of work into you to have you go somewhere else.
We don't want to develop you
No.
and then you take off.
It's a lot, and every treatment facility is different. Bigger places like East Bay Mud, you'll work in one area. You might be a belt press operator for 20 years, and you're going to operate this one piece of equipment. Facilities like ours, you're doing everything. You might even come into the lab and do some lab work if I'm hard up for some work. So it's definitely different, and yeah, lots of opportunities.
We'll have this be the last question.
Thank you. And I'll be there on Friday. So the question is, is this like a Monday through Friday job? Is it a not, 8-hour job? What types of jobs are these?
Think about how often you flush your toilet. Do you only flush it Monday through Friday? I mean, one of the hardest parts of the industry that I feel is unique is that it's 24/7, 365. We might not have an operator on site throughout the middle of the night, but we do have an operator on call. If an alarm goes off, they answer a phone. They might have to go to the treatment facility. Like Troy was saying, there's automated systems now. We're trying to get more automated systems. They can go on their computer, look to see what the alarm is, see if they need to respond at this point in time. With lab, there's somebody there on Christmas, there's somebody there on Thanksgiving, every day of the year. I'm unsure about capital project. I think they get Monday through Friday.
I don't want that to scare you, okay? Out of 365 days, I would say the need for someone to show up like middle of the night or take care of an emergency could be three out of 365, which is like very rare. So I don't want that to scare you off and think of something else. Wastewater industry is still the best, and you should definitely pursue a career if you want to be there. And our jobs, it's basically construction, right? So we work hard Monday to Friday, but then there are some projects for whatever reasons that also happen on weekends. And personally, I worked on night shift for an entire week last year this time because it had to be done at the night when there is no flow. But then I don't remember that 1 week, I still love my job. That was okay. I got through that, and I had a lot of help and support, so.
Yeah, I think to add to that, out of 365, it's going to be 3 or 5, not more than that. Your regular working hours, like 7 or 6 to whatever, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock will be your time. Apart from that, like Akhila mentioned, if it's a heavy construction season, it's like a 1 week window, we get to do this project and we have to wrap it up, then it's going to be intense just that week. But other than that, it's the normal business hours.
Right. Well, thank you all for being so engaged and for the amazing questions, and thank you for sharing all of your insights with everyone here and online. Before I move to the networking, I want to highlight resources available through Career Services, which I manage here at the college. They mentioned some things along the way about like being prepared and interviewing and kind of things like that. So just know that we're here to help you with building your resume, interview preparation and practice, internship resources and connections as well, career exploration guidance, job postings through Handshake. We have a career fair in the spring as well. And Career Closet allows you to get an outfit to prepare for an interview at no cost. For our in-person attendees, in the folder that you received, you'll find a resume packet in the folder. While we don't have a formal resume workshop today, these materials can be helpful for development of your professional document and being ready. And then just know that we're located in the building right across the way. As soon as you go above culinary, you'll see the sign. And our hours are here. We encourage you to schedule one-on-one appointments for personalized support in job preparation and resume preparation. Also follow us on social media. And Handshake, which you used to check in today, is a tool, a resource that you can use in order to access making an appointment and all of these resources that I've mentioned. Okay, so now we'll transition to a brief networking. This is your opportunity to connect directly with the panelists, ask more specific questions if you didn't get a chance to ask them and you're here, and learn about potential opportunities. Well, we know that they're online on their website. For our in-person attendees, feel free to chat. Virtual attendees, thank you for joining us today. And remember, you can always reach out to the contact information provided in the email that I sent to the entire campus. Thank you to our incredible panelists for sharing their time and expertise. I do have certificates of appreciation here. And thank you to all of our students again for your engagement today. The water technology sector offers meaningful careers where you can truly make an impact on community and environmental sustainability. And again, if you're interested in Friday's exclusive facility tour at the Richmond Wastewater Treatment Plant, Please see me immediately after the session to complete the necessary paperwork. We have space for up to 4 students when it comes to like providing transportation, maybe more than that if there are people who would like to drive themselves. Again, thank you and enjoy the networking and all the snacks that our ambassadors have set up in the back for you. Thank you all so much.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.
See if I put these in order.